Live from the studio of his parents' basement, the Have You Seen It podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. Sitting across from me is the one and only Jedi, Cash Kraus.
Hello there.
Oh, hello.
You like that?
Yes, I do.
I can't see shit in the hood.
No, neither can I. I don't know
how do they walk around in
it.
it?
It's impossible.
They must be
called
going
movie
full
magic.
force.
Yeah, full force.
I can't see anything in those goddamn
No,
things.
not
And
a single
warm
thing.
as well.
Yeah, very warm. I'm already sweating.
Could
in this,
not, if I was a Jedi, my one caveat would be like, can we do without the robes?
more
Is there any way I could do
fabric?
I'm a cotton guy. I need a cotton layer. Yeah. Already tough for me to be a Jedi.
It is very
It's not
tough.
going to happen. Mason.
We're here.
We are here.
It's
What are we doing?
It's crazy, man. I mean, over 500 episodes on our podcast.
Yep.
I bring it up quite a bit, but so many years now, I've wanted to review Star Wars, the prequels.
Yeah.
And we're finally here. It is Star Wars week for us.
500 episodes. We've managed to talk about Star Wars in 450 of those.
Yes. Without reviewing the prequels.
I've never seen them.
Yeah.
But I talk a lot about them. But yeah, we're finally here. That's why we're wearing the robes.
Of course, we're all out.
The Jedi bathrobes. Yes. And what reason, though?
We are reviewing this, one, because it's Star Wars Celebration this week, but also, much bigger reason, Obi-Wan Kenobi dropped.
Yes.
And these reviews will actually come out after our Obi-Wan. We're going to drop those first.
Right.
So if you guys are watching this, that's why, because Obi-Wan Kenobi dropped on Disney Plus May 27th, episode 1 and 2.
Yeah, and what better way to get us back into it? And of course, the internet has been asking for one more Star Wars recap / review. So
as if there's not
no
a
one else
million
has
out
done.
there.
No one's done it yet.
Yeah.
We'll probably be the first. But yeah, I am excited, Mason, because man,
So am
I grew up with these films, but it's different to go back and watch them as adult. It's very, very mixed feelings for me. I have an amazing like core memory of my dad, who rarely would do this, would always on Friday the movies came out, let me skip school and go and see. Yeah, which never ever happened. So, and my dad never took days off work either. So we would always go and do that, and I was always blown away by the movies as a kid. As a kid, I thought, Jesus, these things. But I always felt like my dad was always holding something back when we would go and watch those movies, and he would come out with out of the theater a little somber, and I never knew why.
Yeah.
I never fully got it.
Like, Dad, are you just really sad that Qui-Gon is dead now? I'm confused. What's going on?
He's just gritting his teeth. Like, I'm not even realizing. So, like you said, everyone's talked about these films.
Right.
There's mixed feelings.
I think,
they become memes. I mean, huge memes. That's at least one of the greatest things we've gotten out of these films is the level of memes. And obviously, things that become memes had a great cultural impact on the people that saw it originally.
And I think for me too, these prequels age like a fine wine for me, and let me tell you why. The new trilogy, individually, the films are all right outside of Rise of Skywalker, but I really go back with these, and I get even more of a sense of nostalgia, and I appreciate them that much more because like these films were shit on quite a bit back then. But they have grown on people because we were all kids. Our generation were all kids.
Yeah.
When these came out.
Well, not by the audience it was targeted as.
Right.
Loved it, but
Yes.
as for every other critic, because at the end of the day, these films are not the greatest films. I mean, to go against the original trilogy, which I did not have appreciation for as a kid, but now I do, and I see those are just really good fucking films.
Yes.
That even if you didn't like Star Wars, you can watch those films and be like, oh yeah, there's great story and everything.
Yeah, great story structure.
But there's
it's
just
literally the quintessential hero's journey.
There's
with Luke
so
Skywalker.
much history behind these prequels, though, and just how it all went down, and how George Lucas tried to get any other director in the world to do these films, and no one wanted to do it. So eventually he's like, fuck it, I'll do it on my own. And no one wanted that because the original trilogy, the OG, the Holy Trilogy, was always said that 25% of what George Lucas wanted in the film is what made it to the film.
Yep.
And that he was surrounded by people that had you could tell him no all day.
Well, and there was just chaos in the original trilogies too, because he went over double his budget.
Yeah.
And the studio was freaking out on him, and like he had to deal with a lot trying to get those made.
Yeah, it was definitely tough. But after that first one, man, I mean,
they're like, oh, here's some more money.
Yeah. This one had the opposite problem. He had too much fucking money, Mike.
He did.
I just remember, even being so young when these came out, I just remember the talk about how, because it was one of the first films to have so many green screens and so much CGI, that it was just extremely taxing on the actors.
Yeah.
And they don't talk about it bad today, because of course that's made him $1 billion now.
Right.
But back then, whenever they would talk about if you ever want to do another Star Wars again, they'd ask these actors, they would immediately say fucking no.
Because the entire thing's green screen.
Because they're not acting with any other actors.
Right.
And I remember like Liam Neeson was super excited to work with Samuel Jackson and other people, and he said a lot of times he would just be acting against like a picture of Samuel Jackson. They'd be like, pretend he's there. So these films they have so much, I don't know, so much history behind them.
They do.
Just they're
really
so, whatever you think about this, they had a huge fucking culture impact and damn near ruined the lives of every actor that was involved in this.
Well,
except for the ones that were already established.
But
luckily, little Annie, Jar Jar, Ahmed Best, I think his name is, basically was the first guy to do full motion capture and was shit on for it. But yeah, where do we begin, Mason? Where do we start with these films?
Again, we're going to review these. We're going to talk about them. I think we can just hit the highlights. I mean, everyone knows. For me, like, honestly, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit because most people hate politics in Star Wars. It's one of my favorite elements. That was one of my favorite things about the prequels, and I know you're completely different on, but
it's the worst part of it in Star Wars.
Again, like over the course of like my whole life, and especially now, I'm really getting into them. You know, I'm reading canon books that deal more in like the Trade Federation and whatnot, and like all like the Cato Nemodians and
so I mean, only the books that revolve around this time.
Yes, yeah. I mean, a lot of them right now. I'm actually on the EU Thrawn series right now.
It is, definitely not the part of Star Wars that I go to look for about the fucking Trade Federation stuff. Not at all. But one thing that amazes me about this first one is just how little action there actually is in this one. You're really for this one. You're really geared up in there for that pod racing scene.
Mm-hmm. Pod racing, I gotta say though, that pod racing scene was one of my favorite as a kid. It was so awesome.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's one of the best scenes for sure. Yeah, and that I heard they shot so much fucking material for that it was becoming its own movie at one point, and they had to cut down because there has always been a rumored about I think a 6-hour version of this film that a few people saw right when they were like before they were cutting it, and people said it was amazing. Yeah.
Why not just release that now? You know?
I don't know.
25 years down the road.
Probably because they destroyed every version of it. Because you couldn't ever release that in a film. And that's like, you got to remember when this came out in the 90s too, no streaming or anything, you know, the version you got is usually the version you saw in the theater, you know, unless you're Blade Runner and you have 9 different cuts.
Director's cuts. Yeah.
But yeah, you're really waiting for that pod racing scene, and of course the duel at the end is everything in between you could cut out damn near.
And that's the thing, we got to talk about John Williams' score. And this is not hyperbole, but it is one of, if not the greatest score pieces for a combat scene of all time. Duel of the Fates.
Yeah,
it's
what keeps you. I mean, even the score is going on, and it's just fucking, it's banging out every scene.
Yeah.
Every scene where nothing is happening, the score is just on point. John, listen, they're just walking down a hall, and we don't need to go epic on this one, okay? Nothing to do. He's like, don't worry, guys. I'm gonna tame it down, okay? And then he's just in the booth. Just fucking, John, no.
2 hands. Just turns into Grievous, just fucking 4 hands. You're like, whoa, where'd those come from?
Yeah, dude. The score is just, I dare say, so much better than the actual movie is. I mean,
the score is 10 out of 10 for me. It really is.
Every scene, man, it's just, like you said, it's on fucking point. And the limited amount we get of Darth Maul, I think it's a total 8 minutes, which, this is one thing that's always infuriated me. I mean, as soon as I got old enough to really kind of feel what movies are and whatnot.
Yeah.
Was George Lucas really did not learn at all from the previous trilogy, like of showing limited amount of characters, like Boba Fett, only online 6 minutes,
Right.
3
One
lines
of the
of
most
dialogue.
beloved characters in Star Wars.
Darth Maul.
Yeah.
This guy was fucking everywhere on every advertisement you saw, every Burger King cup, everywhere you saw Darth Maul, and you're like, oh, this is the new. This guy's gonna be in all of them.
Yeah. Well, and he's such a good and no pun intended, but such a good and menacing villain.
Yeah,
it's
very scary.
Perfect.
Oh yeah.
And he unfortunately kind of dropped the ball because we don't get to see too much Maul. We see the initial combat scene with Qui-Gon on Tatooine, as they're trying to leave.
Yeah.
Fixing their Naboo starfighter, and then we get the great Duel of the Fates, fight. But that's really it.
That's it. Literally 8 minutes of screen time.
Yeah.
For a
Maul's got like four lines of dialogue.
Maybe 4 lines, yeah. And I heard that the guy who recorded the voice and in the original said he recorded a ton of dialogue and it almost all got cut out.
Oh, that sucks.
I know.
It just sucks.
But we needed tread for Federation talk,
Yeah,
of course.
of
What
course.
are we gonna
Yeah.
do? What are we gonna do?
Those damn Nemodians.
Yeah, those bastards, man.
They are a little.
They last way too long in this series.
They do. Yeah, all the way to Revenge of the Sith. I'm just like
They're surviving longer than 98% of the Jedis in this film.
Newt Gunray, that little bastard.
Newt Gunray, yeah. But I love this opening scene, man. And I remember being in the theater very young, watching this opening scene of them coming down and him doing the lightsaber through the doors.
Yes,
That's impossible.
That's impossible.
Oh, those guys are shocked constantly. They have
They have no idea what Jedi are. Apparently,
every time they see a Jedi do anything, they're fucking blown away. But yeah.
Well, they said like 6 droids to kill them too. I'm like,
Oh my
come
God,
on, they're
no.
Jedi.
Yeah.
You got to send more than that.
And well, they try to poison them at first.
They do.
It's stupid. Like these guys can hold their breath all the goddamn
Yeah.
day. They don't need to breathe. But yeah, I love that scene. The introduction of the Jordicas was fucking.
The Droidicas.
That was awesome. This movie, and rewatching it, has one of the weirdest scenes that I have almost never picked up on. But in that opening scene, when they have the Jordicas, they move in super speed at one point.
Yeah.
They run away.
They run away down the hall. Yes,
Lightning.
I actually noticed that the first time rewatching it again, and I'm like, okay,
They never do the flash speed.
no, ever again.
That seems like a valuable tool in the
I would
gym.
say so. Yeah,
But is that weird?
it's super weird because they don't use it even in like the Clone Wars animated show. They don't use it in Rebels. They don't use it anywhere.
And they're a bull.
Down the hall. I don't know. Maybe they were just like, oh shit, we forgot to film this. Let's just have them speed down the hallway.
It might have been like that, yeah. But that's so weird to me that I never noticed that. Like, that's
Super
a big power for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll come into handy, man. I mean, imagine if you could do that and just sneak behind droids every time and just set them up. And then, obviously the Battle of Geonosis and the Attack of the Clones, that would come in handy if they go all...
Well, fighting anyone, another Sith user, you could burn right through. It was crazy. That was the weird... Maybe it was like Disney Plus, like they added some extra. I don't know, but then it shows like they go fast and it pans down the hall and they're a blur.
And that's a few hundred yards down that hallway. It's a very long hallway.
That's so funny that I've never seen anyone bring that up yet. Like, what a weird power that they never bring up again. But love the opening, and of course it opens up with the ship blowing up. There's always a ship blowing up. Yep. You never want to be that opening pilot.
You don't want to be on that ship.
Yeah, because that thing blows
never
up
gonna end well for
9 times out of 10. But yeah, and this is like the first time we get to see like Coruscant and stuff. You forget it. You've seen it so often now, but you forget that this is like the first time.
Yeah.
And then we go back to Tatooine.
Yeah, I know. But Coruscant too, though, like
Coruscant's
that planet
so
is
cool.
obviously like the center of the galaxy. We all know it's like the biggest planet. But dude, there is so much traffic in Coruscant. Oh my God. You think LA's bad? You think New York's bad?
Which I
Go
don't
to Coruscant.
I don't understand. It's flying cars, but they're still in lanes.
still in lanes,
Well, we can go anywhere, guys.
I love it though.
Yeah, we are at it's just 4 degrees of anywhere we can go here, you know? We can move in any kind of parallel, and they're all in lines for some reason. But Coruscant's such a cool planet that we never get to explore enough.
Yeah.
That's one good thing about these prequels is we get to spend a lot of time in Coruscant.
And I gotta say, man, for the '90s too, they did a really good job, like of constructing and like showing, like the Jedi Temple and the Galactic Senate. Like I thought all of it looked really good.
Well, this episode 1 uses a lot more set pieces and miniatures than the following prequels do. The second one, they just go, hey, we're going full green screen. It doesn't matter. We're not doing it. It's full. Everything looks green screen in the second one.
And one thing that, and you may disagree on this, but for me, like I do like nostalgia. One thing that I was really upset with Disney Plus for doing is in episode 1, when we see the Jedi Council, Yoda is a puppet. It's a puppeteer. Well, they took that out in this one, and now he's just back to being CGI Yoda.
No, that happened way before Disney Plus.
Oh, it did?
Oh my God, they hated the puppet.
Oh, see, I like the puppet.
The puppet's hilarious.
Yeah, it is because it does not look good.
Well, I mean, it looks good for a puppet, but they changed the way Yoda looks because that's obviously the one I saw in theaters as a kid was the puppet one. Because I guess they said that the technology was not. They were scared it was not advanced at that time. But they have other full CGI characters like Jar Jar Binks and a bunch of other ones. Yeah, pull up the puppet. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Puppet Yoda, because he's got like budgier or bulgier
They went more with a
eyes
Muppet look for sure.
Yeah, this look right here.
Yeah, they went more Muppety for sure, which I don't mind. I mean, I prefer a puppet over CGI. But
yeah, of course.
But make him look like Yoda. You could have made a puppet look like that.
I know. But it was completely, look at how different that is. It's just not even close. It's not even the same character.
Andy, I felt like he was a little goofier too as the puppet.
He is
like
goofy.
He was a little funny.
Look at him. He's a little cross-eyed. I love it.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I wish they would have done the puppet, but it is what it is,
Yeah, they changed that like as soon as they could. They changed that. Yeah. They got that out of that. That was not just Disney, but yeah, I like the puppet. Mm-hmm. It was fucking weird. It is weird. Like I don't know why they changed it. We'll change it, but another George Lucas idea, I'm sure. Yeah. But yeah.
Talk about Tatooine a little bit.
Well, I was like, no, we can't talk Star Wars without talking the only planet in the Star Wars galaxy.
Yeah, right? No joke. I love Watto. I gotta be honest.
Watto's awesome. Saboba was fucking. Saboba was one of my favorite characters as a kid. I loved fucking Saboba.
Such a bully too.
Oh my!
You're lucky or
It's the weirdest thing too. As an adult, I thought about it. You don't think about it as a kid, but it's like he's fucking with the least amount of competition.
Oh, of course.
Like he's gonna be worried about all these other experienced pirates
throughout the galaxy.
For some reason, he's like cheating the 8-year-old kid who's never finished a single. He's like, this kid is my big number one.
Yep, I gotta sabotage him.
Like there's other really good pod racers out there who have done it many times, but you're not like, what the fuck?
Just doesn't like this kid for whatever reason. Just because he's a slave.
There's zero competition with this kid. There's no way he knew that this 9-year-old was even going to have a chance. No. It's the most dangerous thing in the galaxy.
Like, what I'd always think is, like, does Sebulba, does he hate Watto? And it's like, no, obviously not, because Watto bet for him.
Yeah.
So obviously they're some
fucking
cordial.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
It is, but, yeah. We get to Tatooine. We meet what's Annie's mom's name?
Shmi Skywalker.
Shmi, of course, Shmi Skywalker.
Yeah, Shmi.
Who's not in the greatest shape. Well, she looks better in this one than she does the second one.
That's very true. Yeah,
but they're slaves, of course. We get the Metachlorians talk.
So the midichlorians.
Shoo that horn. Oh my God. I know for a fact everyone on there said, George, leave it out.
We don't need it explained. Well, and David Shaw, I believe is his name, during Star Wars Celebration, there was someone who asked, like, sometimes Star Wars doesn't make sense, and we got to explain, like, why R2-D2 has jets and why other people can just float.
No, you don't.
Things. And he goes, it's Star Wars.
Yeah, you don't.
We don't need to explain
Absolutely
it.
not.
Because more mystery, the better, because it's just such a big universe. Like, if you get bogged down in explaining every little thing of every little spaceship, every little droid, it's going to take forever. You're not going to be able to get any context of the world. And that's what
George Lucas did, because George Lucas, of course, knew all these things in his head, but we don't need to know what's going on in your head, George. We don't. And you're right, that just bogs down the whole world. Like, the Jedi, for one, I mean, at this point, they're the weakest they've ever been. And they're just because of greed and everything. They let themselves get lazy, and they're bureaucrats at this point. But it's like there's still this mystery kind of samurai-esque element to them, right? That you're not supposed to know this. And just to break this down like this and be like, actually, it's not even a feeling. We can test it.
Oh, yeah, blood sample.
Yeah, just get a blood sample. Like, why do we even have, like, Yoda, like searching out for people, like, in the universe? We're like, no, just blood sample. Get the blood sample from everyone.
And we're good. We'll know. And then we can bring them younglings to the temple and train them.
It's so, and it's never talked about either, besides this moment. Like, never in any of the universes ever talked about. But it's like...
But now it's Star Wars canon, so now it has to be brought up.
It's a long scene, too. It's a long scene in the movie.
Yeah.
It goes on for way too fucking long. But yeah, midichlorians, are little antibodies in your blood. That's so dumb. I hate it. But we find out in this one that Annie was made from the Force.
From the Force, and he's got over 20,000 midichlorian in
Which,
his
what does that mean?
What does it
for
mean?
us?
Exactly. What does it mean? But you know what? It's high. That's what we know. He is the chosen one.
Sounds like he needs a medication.
Yeah.
Or he sounds like
get those numbers down.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah, the amount of explaining that goes into all the Federation and the blockades.
Yep.
And that at this point, the Republic has zero army at all.
None. At all. They literally have the Jedi.
Yeah.
And
I
then
guess,
like these planet, like Naboo security
the,
force. But it's about it.
And the Gungans who are like...
They got to come and save them.
Well, they're not even like allied, really.
No,
they have to come.
They don't like each other.
They have to come explain, like. So I guess that's kind of the point is the Republic, but it's like it's been so peaceful. I can't imagine you still never have an army. Like you never need an army.
It's weird, especially when you have all these droids fighting you constantly all the time.
Yeah,
they're only getting better,
and you're only sending out like your entire force is 30 Jedis for the entire galaxy. Is a lot.
No one planned ahead in the Republic. I tell you.
No, the one guy who did plan ahead.
Oh, Scifodius.
Scifodius.
Yeah, he did,
and they called him crazy.
Yeah, like this guy.
We need an army. And he's like, guys.
God, he died 10 years ago.
Yeah, mysterious death. Who would have guessed?
Real weird.
But Scifodius knew.
He did.
Well, I mean, it was the most obvious thing in the world. Like, clearly they're massing an army.
Right. So maybe we should.
The Trade Federation is massing an army. There are a lot of droids being built. Scifodius, you crazy bastard.
We don't need an army. We got 25 Jedi. We're good. That could take out 1 million plus.
We got a 900-year-old green elf leading us. We'll be okay. We will
survive.
And Scifodius, I feel like I'm the crazy one here. Like, are you guys gaslighting me?
Yeah.
Thank God he worked on his own.
Yes. Thank God.
Turns out you don't need anyone else for a clone army.
Nope. You need one person.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are, though.
We're getting way ahead of ourselves. But we find out Annie. He's already old though. Jake Lloyd, who not Steven Spielberg, but George Lucas ruined this fucking kid's life.
Yeah, poor kid.
Poor kid. George Lucas was the one guy pining for this kid to take this role. This kid is a horrible actor. Whatever you do, the dialogue is bad in these films.
Yeah,
it's always bad, unless the Sith is talking. But he's not good. He's not a good actor. He's also in Jingle All the Way, which I've seen 1 million times. So I'm not saying just from this movie. I've seen this kid in other things, and he's cute. He's a cute kid.
Yeah.
Hollywood likes that. But, and man, did people tear this kid apart.
Yeah. Which is unwarranted.
If it was a better film, I think if it was a better writing, this kid could have managed to do something.
Yeah.
Man, they did not give this kid much.
No, they didn't give much.
An experienced actor is like forcing these like Liam Neeson, He's taking the lines, he's doing what he can with them.
Yes, of course, because he's an established actor, been doing it his whole life.
Yeah.
This kid's 9.
They threw him in the deep end.
He was born less than a decade ago. He has not had that much experience.
And they gave him the biggest property in the world. Yeah. Even Natalie Portman had been acting at this point.
Right. At least a little bit.
Yeah. Well, the whole reason they cast her in this was because of seeing her in Leon the Professional. And they liked her a lot.
As a kid.
So, yeah.
What you got to say?
I feel bad for this little guy.
I could not see anyone else being cast as Padme.
She's
Natalie
great,
Portman.
but how crazy is it of who plays her double?
I don't know the actor's name, but was it Sabine? Sabine's one of the doubles.
Yeah, but it's oh my god, it's gonna kill me not finding it out. It's what's her name from Pirates of the Caribbean?
Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, I know who you're talking about. I don't remember the actress's name, but yes, I do know who you're referring to.
Yeah,
now.
she is. She plays her double in this first one, which is crazy because I didn't even realize Kiara Knightley.
Yeah, Kiara Knightley
Plays her double in this. I mean, she has like 2 lines, but apparently they look so much alike that people couldn't tell them apart on because you really do.
They
have
do
trouble.
look alike.
They definitely do, for sure. But yeah, Kiara Knightley's in this. It's fucking wild.
That is wild. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
but
she got out scot-free. She's only in this one,
right?
And then like people didn't even realize it was her. It was the perfect. That's like the perfect cameo.
I will say, I do like the politics as like, obviously dealing with Naboo and obviously with like Palpatine taking power here because Queen Amidala
Do
votes
they just
for a
let
vote of
this
no
guy
confidence.
do anything he wants?
I know. Well, that's the thing. It's that slow rise to power within the Senate where he has unlimited power.
I am the Senate. Yeah, but man, he suggests one thing. Hey, give me some power.
Yeah.
He'd be like, fuck, why didn't I ever think of that?
Well, he's always in.
No, we're going to give you all the power.
All the power.
He's like, no, I couldn't. Guys, I couldn't.
I know. He's
okay,
always,
give me the power.
He's always in Amidala's ear too, Padme. He's
I know. To me, it seems
sucks,
so
Supreme
obvious.
Chancellor.
Like,
Trust me, he sucks. We must get someone else in. No one has confidence in Valor.
he must have a vote of confidence. And then who would have guessed who gets voted in?
Oh, no way.
No way.
No
me?
way. Me?
Guys.
I mean, I
can't
don't want
do
it.
I can't do it.
But I'll take
Okay.
it. Okay.
And then shit gets bad.
It does.
Yeah.
It gets bad pretty fast.
Yes, it does. But Ewan McGregor, we barely talked about him, but it's pretty much the whole reason we're doing this.
Yeah, of course.
He, of course, is the shining light
Yes.
in all these films, man.
He really is. Like, I
He's
could
carrying
never...
this franchise on
Yeah.
his back.
He really did with the prequels. Like, Obi-Wan Kenobi is, I think, majority of people's one of their top 3 favorite characters of all time.
Yeah.
Being portrayed by Ewan McGregor.
And he's so clearly giving it 100%, man.
Yeah.
No matter how goofy this shit is, he is giving it 100%. For sure. I mean, just like the goofiness of acting in front of green screen and everyone else being put off by, like, he's no matter what, he's in it for sure. The lightsaber duels and everything, man. He's having a great time.
So that's one of the highlights of these prequels for when we do get lightsaber battles. The choreography is so good. Like, it even holds up when I'm an adult, and I went back and rewatched them obviously again. And
well, yeah, choreography is the one thing that should hold up.
Yeah. And it looks so good, man. Like, I love that lightsaber battle between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul. It's so good.
Yeah, well, Ray Park, man. Ray Park is Darth Maul, who's a stunt coordinator, legend in Hollywood, man. It was really smart to give a stunt coordinator that job rather than an actor. For one, the character never talks.
It doesn't, not much.
Although it's not Ray Park's voice either when he's talking. It's another guy dubbing over
Oh, yeah.
Darth Maul. Yeah, so he didn't even get a voice.
No, he didn't. But the choreography.
But man, that guy's so cool. You see that guy at conventions all the time, like videos of him, and people will throw him a double blade lightsaber, and he'll get right back into it. Like the guy, he's pretty old at this point.
But you would have to love it. I mean, you're one of the most iconic Sith Lords in the whole galaxy and the whole like universe of Star Wars.
And again, you're one of the least hated people of
the prequels.
Kiara Knightley as Sabé,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Sabé. Okay,
yeah. There's a lot of people, a lot of things worked out, but man, it's just you always got to get the feeling that it was George Lucas holding these films back these whole times, which is just crazy. But
I really don't think they're terrible. And yeah, I am super biased. Like, I enjoy going back and rewatching the prequels. And yeah, they are not perfect films, but I love them. I really do. I love them. And like, Phantom Menace is on my top 5 list.
There's just of Star Wars films.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Phantom Menace for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, a top 5. How many Star Wars films total are there? 11?
Yeah, 11, yeah.
So that's 50%. You might have to go with a smaller sample size there.
Well, it's not. It is number 5, so that's why I can say top 5. So, you know?
It is my top 9.
It is, yeah, come on. I mean, dude.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't.
You like maybe go a little, okay, I see.
Right, you see where I went there. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's scenes that I could pull out of these films, of this first one, that I love, but there's some scenes that you could just completely cut out.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's always shit about it. Like, the Jar Jar Binks stuff just doesn't add anything.
No.
There's moments of this film where just the feeling and the motion of the scenes go so crazy that it will go from really sad to comedy to like lighthearted really quick. Like it's very, the pacing is kind of weird. And
It
like
is
really,
definitely weird.
There's a scene where it's like it goes from Qui-Gon dying to Annie in the cockpit laughing. It's like the editing is so fucking weird. And,
And
again,
then the
it's big.
celebration, and then
Yeah,
the funeral.
So it goes.
Yeah.
It's just so bizarrely shot and like not how films are supposed to be, like
Right.
the smooth kind of. It's just like kind of
Well,
jarring.
and
Like that's the worst part of these films. But like I said, there's individual scenes I could pull out of this film that I absolutely love. That
Yeah.
work so well. But as a whole,
Right.
there should have been someone on the set reeling George Lucas back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been said so many times.
And I wish we could have gotten that 6-hour film.
Yeah.
Because I would sit through it. I would watch it. Because I feel like if you had like full context and like much longer, an unlimited amount of time for a director's cut, I think it probably could have been.
Where you let some of those scenes maybe play out a little longer,
Yes.
rather than cutting so fast to an entirely different scene. Because you're following so many characters, and not every character is at the same moment of another character. So someone's laughing and having a good time, and then it'll cut immediately to Qui-Gon, his guts hanging out. Like it's.
Well, and that's the thing too. There are a lot of like very quick scenes in this film where it's like Jedi Council, 30 seconds. Okay, now we're on Naboo.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're on Tatooine. Where it's like it would have been nice to have a little bit more time with individual characters.
The second one it's even more jarring for me because you'll be like,
oh my god,
you'll be following Obi-Wan and be like,
we'll
I'm
talk
really
about it
invested
next.
in Obi-Wan, and then 30
back
seconds
to Anakin and Padme, and then back to Obi-Wan
in a
back to
field.
Anime. Yeah, it's crazy.
And then back to Obi-Wan fighting a bounty hunter. Oh my god, this is amazing. Let's stay here for a little bit. Back to Padme. They're in another field again. They're holding each other.
We'll save this for Attack of the Clones because that is the next review we're doing. But I mean, I think I've basically said everything that I wanted to say.
Yeah,
here,
like I said, there's things that I absolutely love about this film. One more thing I got to talk about is when Darth Maul gets cut in half. I don't think I ever realized the little blood spray that squirts.
There is a little blood spray, yeah.
Just
I
a
mean, it doesn't
mist.
get on Qui-Gon, or excuse me, it doesn't get on Obi-Wan's
That'd be
face.
fucking awesome.
It would have been.
What the fuck? The midichlorians are in my mouth. That would have been fucking.
been a while.
But I realized it again because at the start of Obi-Wan, they do the ketchup. The whole thing got ketchup with everything going on, and they show that again. And it's the spray.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah, the spray's cool.
Because the guy's getting cut in half.
Right,
It's a
there's
brutal
gonna be some blood, okay? And, I would have liked to see Maul fall with intestines, like, flailing in the wind.
God. And just like skids of blood on the way down.
Yeah.
His intestine gets hooked on something, so he's staying on. It is definitely one of the most brutal deaths in Star Wars.
It is.
Right.
For sure. Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's not even a death.
And
That's
again,
what's hilarious.
That's what's so weird about the whole feeling of the movie. It's like kids movie. Guy
cut in half
and surviving all the way down.
Yeah, and it's so weird because there is no and look, I'm the biggest Star Wars, or not the biggest, but like I'm a very big Star Wars fan, obviously. But it's so funny because there's no Star Wars logic. The Star Wars logic makes no sense. You can cut Darth Maul in half and he survives.
Of course.
You can. I'm not gonna get into Obi-Wan, but you can stab Qui-Gon.
He's dead
and
immediately.
He's dead. Yeah, and I'm like, what? What? What is
I know. Yeah.
But I love it. I still love it. I don't care.
That's another thing that I get angry about too when people are like, and then like for the newer films, something stupid will happen, And people be like, whoa, that's impossible.
Yeah, what?
Like, what are we doing here, guys? There's people that can move shit with their mind. They got laser swords.
Right.
Like,
It's just fun.
gravity doesn't even really make sense in these films.
No.
People are moving lightning speed in some...
And then never reuse that power ever again.
But we are questioning these other things that just... I don't know. Like I said, Star Wars fans, man, it's the most powerful fan base. It's the most toxic fan base.
Yeah.
No one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans.
Yeah, I will say.
It's very
they're
interesting.
very, very critical. And I watch like Star Wars Theory on YouTube.
But it's
all
the weirdest
time.
thing because it's like they want the exact same thing rehashed, but they also want like, something extremely new. You do the exact same thing, they hate it.
Right.
You go too far off the plan, they fucking hate that.
Yeah.
You'll never make them happy.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
you gotta
hard.
make
It's a
something-
tough challenge.
You gotta make something in the middle, yeah. But,
Yeah, it is.
All right, episode 1. Look out
For
episode
Attack of the Clones. Yes, and then Revenge of the Sith the next day.
Yep.
You guys have already watched our Obi-Wan Kenobi recap, but we're going to be in these costumes all week. So I'm going to work in it.
Yep, I'm not taking them off, and they're getting smelly.
Oh, they are thus far. We got a lot of videos to go. All right, guys. That is our review for Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. If you guys like what you've seen here, please be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause, and may the Force be with you.
Bye.